The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show. You can hear my shows Monday through Friday from 5 until 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville and in Birmingham on Talk 99.5 from 10 until noon. With me, as always, Mecca Musick. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people. Smart enough to know that prisons were going to be almost double what they were supposed to cost, but we'll get into all of that here in just a little bit. We've got Sean Sullivan with us from FM Talk 106.5 down in Mobile, and I've got a parting shot for you about that wonderful Trump-DeSantis dust-up that we've seen. Supposedly it's super crazy that they're just saying random things to each other, but great, we'll talk about that. But for right now, let's go ahead and get to the 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, here we go. Let's talk about budgets. How very, very exciting. These are basically what Kay Ivey decided was important for the state of Alabama. The more I talk to legislators, Mecca, the more I learn that they're basically saying, kind of like the House and Senate have done with Joe Biden, hey, thanks a lot, but no thanks. And that they're just going to do their own thing and kind of throw her budgets in the trash. I mean, is this what you're hearing?
No, that's not what I'm hearing. But just historically speaking, listen, what the budget starts out as, I mean, it's not going to be the same thing at the end. I think she's laid out her goals and what she'd like. And of course, there will be some adjustments made by legislators. Yeah,
we'll come back and we'll talk about the rebates and stuff like that because she's still pushing some of that. There are other things in there that kind of surprise me, like the Education Trust Fund. One, it's $8.8 billion as opposed to the general fund, which is like 2 and some change. If you didn't follow politics and state budgeting very closely, you would never know that they were so lopsided. But the Education Trust Fund has probably the best educational thing I've ever heard in my life. A water park in Montgomery. There's a water park in Montgomery in the Education Trust Fund. And a lot of people are kind of uncomfortable about that. Were you surprised to see something like that?
That is something that I think people have noticed. I'm sure there's a great story and reasoning for it and educational purpose. We'll have to learn more. But yeah, there of course there's things that people are going to pick out and look at. And I am curious to see, especially the budget committees. They like to, no, I don't want to say flex because this is their job, but you know, this budget is not going to go through without a lot of hands touching it and a lot of things changing.
They like to say we're involved in this and here's what we're doing. I like what you're trying to do here, like the framing of this. It's like, I'm sure there's something there. Like, am I going to take my son down there and we're going to like measure the water pressure coming out of one of the water slides? Oh, there you go. Maybe. It's an educational purpose. That's why we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My school used to take us to a place called Busch Gardens when I was, for educational purposes.
Did you learn a lot?
I would learn to lie to my teachers and ride roller coasters instead. That's what I learned. All right, let's move on to the other side. The walls are closing on Trump. Those words were actually said in a non-sarcastic way by Joe Scarborough on MSNBC this week. It's amazing. The indictment, it hasn't happened as of the time of this recording. It may never happen, or it might have already happened. But Mecca, they're talking about arresting a former president of the United States. And this is almost amazing because it almost is going to have a huge impact on something. But I'm not so sure it is. The impact this has, I think, is just to fire up his base.
That's what I was going to say. If anything, it's just re-energized his base. People who are, I'm not saying bored with him, but we're maybe looking at DeSantis with longing eyes. I don't know.
It fires up both bases. The put Trump in jail base because they assure us that they're going to get him at some point in time. And by the way, there are 3 different angles still out there to get him. There's the DOJ in the documents. There's the thing going on down in Georgia, and then there's this. And this is, I think, the weakest. But Congressman Mo Brooks made a point to me this week when I was talking with him, and he said this is actually the most dangerous thing for Donald Trump because from the top all the way down to the jury, from the top Supreme Court judge all the way down to the jury in New York City is nothing but Democrats. And if something gets before them and they don't get it thrown out on a technicality, there is a chance that Donald Trump get convicted on something like this.
Listen, even so, though, the legal minds I have spoken to say whether you're for Trump or against Trump, this case specifically, It's very hard to prove.
It's weak.
There's so many hurdles to kind of jump through on this that it's going to be difficult.
So, if they convict him, do they put him in general population and with like a Secret Service agent, or does he get his
Well,
own
do you
jail
still
cell?
think that
or-
it's actually going to happen? I was surprised you didn't do. I was surprised you knew this. Is this where they get him? You know, your little line you like to do about this, because it's nearly like Lucy with the football at this time. Like so many times.
I'm just going to do that right now. Like the last question I was going to ask you on this. So is this where they get him? And
Sorry.
maybe. I mean, maybe he wanted the perp walk. He wanted the photo.
And
again,
yes, you know that.
And I'm telling you this right now. Again, as of right now, he has not been arrested. As we're recording this. So let's make a little prediction here. Does he smile like a goon when they arrest him and do the mugshot?
If he arrests him, or the smirk.
No, huge smile.
Huge smile?
Huge smile. There is no question about it. He will be smiling, and that will show up in campaign literature a lot. All right.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's move on. Let's talk about something else in the Alabama legislature. Let's talk a little bit about rebates. They're dead. The end. All right, now let's have a conversation. You don't think so? I was going to say tax cuts are far more likely. We are watching as the whole thing for the rebates collapse. I'm not saying you could read it in their faces, but you could read it in their eyes. When Kay Ivey said $400 and $800 during the state of the state, the people behind her were like, okay, sure, all right. I didn't see that coming.
See, but no, I think that there was support for rebates. I think it's the number that really surprised some people. I don't think they were expecting it to be that high.
So they want to try to bring it down.
I think there's a possibility for that, but also the momentum for tax cuts, like the grocery tax, it has never, the momentum, in my experience, hasn't been like this strong
I agree.
thus far.
Those rebates seem like a lock a couple months ago. You go back and look at the show, and we probably talked about it. But I think right now the rebates are laying on the floor, gasping for air. And Anthony Daniels, oddly enough, the House Minority Leader, a Democrat, I think changed the entire conversation on this, came in and put his foot on the neck of the rebates and said, no rebates. We've been talking about doing away with the grocery tax for a long time. Now's the opportunity. He offers up a month, and then Arthur Orr comes back and takes my plan that I offered up and change it just a little bit and wean off the grocery tax for everyone over the span of 4 years. Now, it has to go up 2% every year, the Education Trust Fund, to take a penny off the tax. That would take 4 years if that were to happen. It's 8% this year. So you're going to have to continue growing at a pretty good rate in order to get it over 4 years. Do you think tax cuts are the way we're going here?
I think it's definitely a possibility. And again, just to talk about Anthony Daniels, he should get a lot of credit for pushing this forward. It's something that many have thought needed to be done in Alabama for a long time, and he has not let up on this.
Well, yeah, I agree with that completely. I had him on my web show, Yellow Hammer Now. You can go to yellowhammernews.com and check that out. And I said, are you the face of tax cuts now in Alabama? I mean, is the face of tax cuts in Alabama a Democrat?
I think maybe for this one.
Okay, all right. I think you're right. All right, moving on. Here's something else the legislature is going to have to deal with, and they're going to have to deal with it soon. I told you before, we have a massive budget for the Education Trust Fund. We have a much smaller budget, but a multi-billion-dollar budget for the general fund. And now we're supposed to build 2 prisons. The first one we learned was 50% under what it's come in now. The second one, probably the same. So let's just play it safe and say we're talking about almost $2 billion to build these 2 prisons in order to make the prisons more humane for prisoners. Now,
because it does not increase capacity.
Right. The explanation here is going to be pretty hard to make, because if you go to people and you say, hey, we want to build new prisons, people are going to say, great, so we're going to put more people in prison. No. We're just going to treat the people in prison better.
No, I don't think everybody would be against that like you are.
I'm not against
yes, you are.
I'm not against treating them well. I'm not suggesting that they not be treated humanely. But if I'm selling something to the American people or to the people
price tag, for that price tag,
you know,
exactly.
this thing
And so it doesn't actually tackle a lot of the problems. I mean, important ones. It does tackle that. But
it makes overcrowding less. The system's more humane. One of the prisons is supposed to have like some sort of education system,
which would be great.
In there, yeah. I'm not debating any of that. But listen, if I were a Republican legislator and my entire shtick was law and order, and we're going to build prisons, you better be putting more people in those prisons.
This is going to be a tough sell. Yeah, it's going to be a tough sell.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though. They're just going to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to power through this, and they're going to say, we're going to continue with this because there is no going back. Now is the time. They've got money. now is the time to do it. You cannot roll this back in any way, shape, or form.
I think it could be done maybe a little better.
A little better?
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe. It seems like each plan that has come forth has just kind of maybe gotten worse and worse and worse.
I think what you do is you just like build 3 walls in a room, not 4, and you save a quarter of it that way, and that seems to be the right way to do it. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right answer. But listen, what I do know is this. Coming up next, Sean Sullivan's going to be with us. He's with FM Talk 106.5 down in Mobile. Stay tuned. It's Alabama Politics This Week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
I'm a small business owner, and after the past 2 years, I'm ready to hire. But it seems like every time I find a good worker, they don't have a driver's license. Hard to get to the job if you're not allowed to drive. Support the bipartisan driver's license bill and get folks back on the road. Workers drive Alabama. When we're free to drive, we're free to work.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about it today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
Have you filed for disability benefits but were denied by the Social Security Administration? Or do you need to apply for benefits and are overwhelmed with paperwork? Are you between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury? Thousands of hardworking Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits every month and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact and will share our insider expertise. There is a time limit to apply. We're here to help you get your disability claim filed and paid as soon as possible. Please, time is limited. So, if you are between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury, call right now and let us help you file your disability claim with the Social Security Administration.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson, with me as always, Mecca Musick, and our guest this week, Sean Sullivan, FM Talk 106.5 down there in Mobile, and it's always great to talk to him. I want to start with something national here before we jump into the state stuff. You're right there in Mobile. You cover some of the Florida media market, and you see what happens with Ron DeSantis. You see what's going on there. What has changed since he's sort of gone into this little thing where he's battling with Trump? Has anything changed in the media coverage or him or anything like that, Sean? Is there anything you could tell the listeners across the state of Alabama that you're seeing down there since you kind of touch Florida in a way?
We're close by here, but I have not heard. I mean, really the narrative's the national one on the the outright open warfare going on between, like yesterday, even with Don Jr. chiming in. That's been the discussion. I have not heard anything from, or could tell anything from the TV stations across the border there, that they're reporting anything differently. Maybe we'll see it in the future. I hadn't been looking for it. I haven't seen it.
Sean, do you expect a bump for Trump as this the wall's closing in, and
this is where they get him?
Yeah, this is where they arrest things. As that comes more and more, and perhaps a reality, do you see him gaining more support?
Sure, or maybe solidifying some support that might have been wishy-washy. I mean, number one, it's working. I don't know if you saw the story with how much fundraising he's already done off this, and he hasn't even gotten arrested yet. You get arrested, you put him in jail. What did Chris Rock say? It's a Tupac effect. When Tupac Shakur went to jail, he sold more albums than when he was out of jail. So you put President Trump, former President Trump, in jail. You take, obviously, motivated, the hardcore Trump supporters will donate more money, show up at more events. But if somebody was there who was kind of wishy-washy, said, I'm just going to see how it's going to play out, see if it's DeSantis, see if it's Trump, they see this as such a witch hunt here that it may have that person who's wishy-washy just turn right back to Trump and say, no, I'm going to stand with him there. So, yeah, I think this is a net benefit for, whenever he gets arrested for Trump.
Give me a yes or no answer. I've seen his supporters have hardened on my show. Do you see the same thing?
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, I think that's pretty clear. All right, let's move back to the state of Alabama here for a second. Budgets are out. We're starting to see all those things. Here's what I need to know from you. Prisons. This isn't even part of this giant budget we're seeing. The education budget, over $8 billion. The general fund budget, almost $2 billion. Now we hear prisons are going to cost almost double. That's not fair to say. Only 50% more, excuse me. Is this something that worries the legislators you talk to, the people you talk to? Are you worried about the price of prisons and how much it's gone up?
Well, of course I'm worried about it. And, it can't all be, if it's a 50% increase, we can't say that's all dependent on inflation because, inflation's bad, but it's not 50% on that. So that's an issue. But the other side of this, and it's what I've been Chicken Little for all these years, I guess the first term of Bentley, when I really started paying attention to this issue and what it would be like to have receivership come back to Alabama for the prison system. Obviously there's a dollar amount you don't want to spend, but also if we go into receivership, we fail to meet these benchmarks by, July of 25, how much more beyond that is it going to cost us? And pox on many houses out there too. The legislature, and a lot of those people still aren't in office right now, but they had a chance to get ahead of this 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, and we didn't. So here's what we get. We get the last-minute decisions if we're up against the wall on this, and we're going to end up spending way more than we should have.
Well, not only spending way more than we should, Sean, do you think that this addresses all the concerns and challenges that the prison system in Alabama is currently facing?
I don't know, though, because, as soon as you think, okay, they come out and say, well, here it is. It's here's the brick and mortar portion of it, and it'll meet the number of beds and all that. And you go, okay, that's great. And they go, yeah, but you've got to hire this many more, employees for ADOC. You've got to have this amount of mental health. So, I don't know what that looks like. I would hope that the state has a punch list on that and says, here's exactly what we need to meet. But, we have been disappointed before, so I'm not holding my breath.
I found it interesting. Recently, they took the guards and they gave them a gigantic raise to start from like 31,000 to 51,000 or something along those lines. It was huge. That's going to be super expensive. Now, it's also life-changing money for a lot of people and will probably entice people into that field, obviously. But good Lord, that's going to be expensive. That's another cost. I'm assuming this is baked into these budgets, but that's just another cost of corrections over something we've already spent a ton of money on, and it doesn't look like that's getting any smaller, does it, Sean?
But no, it doesn't. But here's the thing. Okay, so that increase from whatever 33 to 50 or over, and I know there was a graduated scale by the level of prison facility that you're working at. But where is that number? Because if we have to have staffing, we have to staff correctional facilities at a certain number to satisfy the DOJ. Then, if 50 doesn't get it, then I want to ask this question: how high do we go? Right. Because if we don't, then DOJ comes in. I mean, feds come in, take receivership, and demand that you hire those people at whatever rate. So this is the problem with kicking this can down the road. We're not getting to make decisions like we should. We're making panicked decisions because of what could happen.
I agree completely. Keep in mind, the reason why this prison price went up so much is because when they agreed to the previous price, they didn't even have a plan. And then they come up with a plan like, wow, it's going to be a lot more expensive. That sure does suck. But we already signed the agreement, so, oh well, I guess we'll just plus it up, and that will be the way it is. Last thing I want to talk to you about is this whole rebates and tax cuts thing. Who would have thought that Anthony Daniels, the House Minority Leader, would be the face of tax cuts in Alabama? He starts talking about a tax cut holiday for the food thing, and the Republicans go, hold on. What if we do away with it forever now? I thought that was very interesting. Are your listeners excited by that? Because they've been talking about getting rid of the food tax for a very long time. Looks like they could possibly, I think they're going to do it this time. Do you think they're going to do it? Are your listeners excited about it?
I don't know. Yeah, they are excited about it, but I mean, it's a perennial on my show. I've been, on the soapbox about the sales tax on food for a decade. But to hear, like, whether Minority Leader Daniels or, in the Senate with Senator Orr, when I hear actually not just saying, hey, we're gonna get rid of the food tax, when I start hearing, and here's how we do this, and here's how we phase in, and here's a measured approach, that does make me think it's got a better chance than ever, right? When you'd have a legislator say, yeah, I agree with you, Sean, that's great. And then the session would start, you never hear of it. Now that there's plans rolled out with specifics in them, I think that does say there's a better chance of getting something done. But it seems to be, like, the governor puts nothing in the budget on that, no discussion of that. You got Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth saying a little bit about it, which I thought was interesting. He's breaking ranks there. But without the cudgel of the executive branch to push people in the legislature, I sure hope they do it. But I mean, it won't be the first time I've been disappointed. So, but yes, I hope they do it.
Okay, so Sean, so the other side of that coin, though, so in your mind, what's the story with rebates? Are they dead, or is it happening? Is it going to be a lower amount?
Rebates, no, because that's what the governor wants. No, they want the rebates. I think it's a failing to do. It's a sugar high, right, versus a chance to change some of the tax structure in the state of Alabama. I'm sorry. If $400, and I'm not, if somebody handed me $400 right now, I'd smile. But if $400 is going to impact Alabama families at a level that would be better than starting to phase out the grocery tax, explain that to me. Really, yeah. $400 one time versus a change. But yeah, the governor's going to get what she wants. I mean, she said it, so I think you get. And do they do both? I don't know.
The rebate conversation seems to have gone really cold, I think, and I guess we'll see where all of it goes. And by the way, that tax cut phase-out plan, that was my idea. So when you talk about it, make sure you give me credit, Sean.
Okay, I will. That's what you need is more credit.
Sean Sullivan, FM Talk 106.5 down in Mobile. Thank you very much for coming on here. We appreciate you, Sean. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, y'all.
There we go. Sean Sullivan, thanks that. Stay tuned. Mecca's out of here. Show gets so much better. I got the partner shot for you. We'll talk Trump DeSantis when we come back. It's Alabama Politics This Week. Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about it today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
The past 2 years have been hard. I was so excited when I finally got the job offer, And then they told me I'd have to have a driver's license to get the job. I can't keep food on the table for my kids or milk in the fridge, let alone pay my tickets. If I can't drive, I can't work. Support the bipartisan driver's license bill and get folks back on the road. Workers Drive Alabama. When we're free to drive, we're free to work.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them. I love them. Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook. Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for dental visits. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for transportation to my doctor. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay to have my prescriptions delivered directly to my home. Did you?
These and more are important benefits some Medicare Advantage plans may give you. So if you're eligible for Medicare, call us right now because you may be eligible to enroll in a plan with amazing additional benefits. Some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for services like these: dental visits, vision coverage, hearing coverage, home delivery of drugs, even gym memberships. Some plans may include no copays for many services and 0 deductibles. Don't wait to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a plan that may include some of these wonderful benefits you deserve. Call us right now. The call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation. Make this free call now to learn if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits you want. Call us right now.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. Thank you very much for joining us. We're about to jump into the party shot. We'll talk the whole Trump-DeSantis dust-up, which is really kind of lame if you ask me. But we'll get into all of that here in just a second. First, let me remind you, head on over to YellowhammerNews.com. Not only can you watch my videos, my Yellowhammer Now videos, you can also sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today, where every day I tell you all the 7 things you should be talking about today. You don't talk about anything else. Stop talking about anything else, just the 7 things. For right now, though, let's head on over to the party shot. My party shot this week is directed at everybody whining and crying that Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are beating each other up. What did you expect to happen? This is exactly what was going to happen, and it is going to get way, way worse. There's 2 sides here. One, if you're a DeSantis supporter, which I would consider myself one, you knew Trump was going to do this. You know how you knew that? Because he's been doing it for months. So it shouldn't really come as much of a surprise. And if you want to look at what Trump's actually worried about, look where his actual anger is being directed. It's at Ron DeSantis. Not necessarily this thing going on in New York. He knows that helps him. DeSantis hurts him, and he is now directing his anger and fire that way. And I think it's been effective on the polls. There's no question about it. If you're a Trump fan complaining that Ron DeSantis is saying things like, well, he didn't do a very good job on COVID, he should have fired Fauci, or we won't have any drama in our administration. Donald Trump implied a whole bunch of things about Ron DeSantis, up to the point of that he might be gay or something, and there's a scandal in the background. All sorts of crazy things. And Ron DeSantis said, we're not going to have drama, and you're mad about that. Remember, your entire brand as a Trump supporter is tough guy, telling it like it is. You're not going to be playing nice. It's not politically correct. And then you're crying online about this. It's not a very good look. I'll just point that out to you. It's going to be a fight. Get in there, get bloody, beat each other up. May the best man win. And then we can move on from there. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching Alabama Politics This Week. We'll be back next week. Thanks for being here.